welcome. Yeah, my name's Chris Greaves. As my namesake Chris said, I'm from Adviza. We see a lot of young people, including, I think, certainly John Hamden, but maybe Pebblebrook as well. So nice to meet with you all. We're going to be looking at maths this afternoon, and maths is about numbers, isn't it? And numbers are fun. Numbers fun? You don't believe me? Well, actually, I need a volunteer at this point. We're going to do something to show that numbers are fun. Is there a volunteer?
I think we've got someone from Pebblebrook, Chris, who's going to volunteer, which would be great.
Lovely. Can I have a name? Is there a name of someone from Pebblebrook? Yeah, don't be shy.
Let's get that now. Will it be a student or will it be the teacher? That's the question. Wally, we've got from Pebblebrook.
Wally from Pebblebrook. Well, welcome, Wally. Right, Wally. Numbers are fun. There's some numbers for you. 16 numbers, 1 to 16. And in a moment, when I tell you, I'm going to ask you to pick 4 numbers off that board. Just 4. But of course, you don't know what you're going to pick at the moment, do you? And I certainly don't know what you're going to pick. But actually, I'm going to guess, if we added up your 4 numbers, I'm going to guess what the total is going to be. Difficult, isn't it? Neither of us know which numbers you're going to choose. We've not met before, but I'm going to guess what the total of your 4 numbers is going to be when we've finished this exercise. Now, just so I don't cheat, I'm actually going to write it down. I'm going to write down the total that I think your numbers are going to be. Of course, I won't show you, but I'm writing it down on here's a piece of paper. I'm going to write down the total. Let me just think.
With magic.
It's magic, isn't it? I'm just trying to get inside Wally's head here, just to think, which of these numbers are you going to choose, Wally? Right, I think I've got it. I think I know what you're going to choose, and they add up to the number that I've just written on this piece of paper, right? So it's on this piece of paper here, and I'm going to put it inside this envelope. And Wally, just to show that I haven't prepared another one, I'm going to write your name on the front of the envelope. Probably hear it there. There you go, Wally. Your numbers, just to show you, they're in there. There you are. That's the piece of paper. It's in the envelope. You don't know what's written, but I know what you are going to select. Now, just so I don't swap it or anything at the last minute, because that'd be a bit of a cheat, wouldn't it? I'm going to tie it around my neck. I'm going to put your envelope on this cord around my neck. There you are. There's yours, Wally. So all the way through, you can see there's no cheating going on. I haven't got one up my sleeve or anything like that. I've written the total of your 4 numbers inside the envelope. Right, here we go then. Are you ready, Wally? I'd like you to, and I will circle each number as you say it. Just give me your first number. Any number on the board, 1 to 16, Wally. Give me your number via the chat and we'll add it in. Oh, you've gone for the big one straight away. Wally's gone straight for number 16. Right, so see that? I've circled number 16 there. That's your choice. Now, I want to spread it out just so we don't group them all at one end or not, to really make it not easily predictable. So we're going to say we'll have 1 from every row and 1 from every column. So you've had 1 from the bottom row, sorry. So those have all gone. And you've had 1 from this right-hand row. So those have all gone. All right, just make sure we really spread it out. So have another go. The numbers that are left, Wally, you pick 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. You have a go. Pick another number out of those. Over to you, Wally.
Number 3.
Number 3. It's gone up there.
It's a good number.
It's my favourite number, actually, number 3. So you're obviously getting inside my head there, Wally. But so we can't have any more from the top row. We'll spread it out, and we can't have any more from that middle row. So go on then, Wally. Your next number. You've got 16 and 3 so far. Make it really clear that you've chosen number 3. There we are. Give us another number. I wonder what he's going to go for. He's gone for 9. Right, so we can't have any more from that row. And we can't have any more from that column, which kind of means I know which one you're going to go for now because there's only one left. So if you want to confirm, Wally, which is your last choice, I'm thinking it's that one. Yes, I agree. Number 6. Right, so you've gone for 3, 6, 9, 16. Now, this is where the maths comes in, doesn't it? Add them up then. You add up your numbers and put the total that you think, and I'll add them up. I'm sure Chris will add them up as well, and we'll see what it comes to. 3, 6, 9, 18. Oof. Keep going with the maths. I'm struggling with the maths here. 18.
You want them to put it in the box?
What number do you reckon it comes to, Wally? Put it in the chat box. And I'll write what you think the total of your numbers is. Give them a hand, folks in Pebblebrook. If Wally's struggling with the maths, you shout out what you think is the total number there. Right? In fact, anyone from John Hamden could contribute. You're probably just as good at your figures. You add up those 4 numbers and give us. So Wally's reckoning it comes to, I'll write it on the board, 34. There we go. So numbers is fun. Here's a bit of magic. Now, remember around my neck here, it hasn't moved, it's been there all along. I've written the total that I reckoned Wally was going to choose. I didn't know the numbers. Wally didn't know the numbers, but I've written down the total that I reckon your numbers are going to be. Right, I've taken it off. Here we are. So I'll pop that up there so you can see it. I'm not cheating. There's Wally's total. You can just about see it. I'll bend the screen down a bit for you there. 34. Right, let's take it out of the envelope. Haven't seen this before. Here it comes. I reckoned Wally was going to go for 34. Clever, isn't it? It's clever. So without knowing Wally, without having talked to Wally at all, I guessed what all Wally's numbers were going to add up to. Fun, isn't it? Numbers are fun.
Are you going to let us know how you did that, or is that?
Oh no one ever reveals their sort of tricks, do they?
That's very impressive. There we go. We've had someone ask, "How on earth have you done that?" Same as
well,
me.
how? Yes. Tell you what. Why don't after in class or with some friends? Why don't you have a go at doing the same thing? So remember that it was like, remember how it was laid out? You have a go later on to yourselves. Remember, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 34, 4 rows of 4. You have a go. And on your own well, with your friends in the class or in a group later on. Remember, it's 1 from each row and 1 from each column. And then add them up.
Pebblebrook are very impressed. They're saying, I'm sure it'll be a good thing to do to your parents if you go home and do the same trick on them.
Fantastic. Over tea tonight, say, hey, we did some maths at school. Remember, 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 16, 1 number each row, add them up. And do it yourself before you do it with your parents, and you see what number it comes to. But obviously, don't tell them before they do it. So, maths is fun, and that was maths. It wasn't magic. Actually, that was just good maths. There was no magic there. I wasn't able actually to get inside Wally's brain. Do I want to get inside Wally's brain? No, I don't think so. I did maths instead of magic there. You could do that later on. Now, maths isn't just for doing quizzes to sort of impress your parents over tea tonight. Maths actually is dead useful in a job as well. And I've got some, I've got some pictures if I can find them of someone in jobs. In fact, here's some jobs. You can see that.
Yep.
Right, there we have some jobs. I don't know however many there are, 15 or so are there. And some of these are particularly relevant to maths. In fact, I reckon these are particularly good jobs for maths. And I'll say a bit about why I think that. You may know people that do some of these jobs, and you'll be able to check with them. You'll be able to say, are you only good at maths? And if they say yes, you can be able to say, you're probably in the right job then. Mind you, if they say no, say, time to look for a new job. But these yellow jobs, I think maths is really helpful with. Accountant, they're the people in a company that count all the money. It's in the word there, isn't it? Accountant, count. The accountants count all the money, work out if they're making a profit or a loss, work out how much they can pay people. Accountants. Carpenters, you know, carpenters work with wood. But why do carpenters need maths? Well, I'll show you. You see behind me there, just over there, at the back of the room, there's a door. Supposing I needed a new door. That one's got a bit old. It is quite old, actually. and I need to replace the door. Well, the carpenter would come in. The first thing they'd need, of course, is one of these, a good tape measure. Carpenter would do this. Yeah. They'd go up to the door, they'd measure the height. They would measure the width of the door. They'd write down all those figures, all those lovely numbers, and then they'd go away and they'd know how to work out the size of the door that they needed to cut or buy to replace my door. Carpenters, many building trades, but particularly carpenters, need numbers. Chefs need numbers as well. Supposing you were making a recipe and you open the recipe book, and what's the first thing you see? Lots of numbers. It'll say 500 grams of flour, 2 tablespoons of honey. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Recipes are based on numbers, and you get to put it in the oven and it will say 200 degrees. You have to dial in the number, so many minutes time to calculate the length of time it takes. A lot of numbers for a chef. What about this one? Computer games designer. I don't know what game that's from. Any suggestions? Anyone know their computer games? Recognize the graphics in the background here? These pictures up here. Do you know what games they're from? If you've got an idea of the game, you flag it up and let us know. But that game, has anyone got it?
We've got Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's spending a lot of time not doing schoolwork because it is Fortnite, I think. Well done. But actually, when people make computer games, they don't spend the whole time playing the game. They haven't made it yet. It's like this guy in the bottom right-hand corner here. They spend a lot of time doing exactly what he's doing, looking at how many screens he's got. There are lots of screens. But on those screens, if you could read it, there'd be a lot of numbers because he's programming in the computer program that will end up generating those lovely graphics and interactive games. Something like Fortnite or any game is actually computer programming. Computer programming means lots of numbers. You have to be really good at maths for computer programming. In fact, my son's a computer programmer. He was red hot at maths. What else have we got? Well, gardener. Why is it gardener? Surely gardeners are sort of cutting the lawn and planting flowers. Well, not really. It's not just that. Here's a picture of a gardener hard at work, and the job he had to do that day was to make this path along here. There's the sand, and he's laying the sort of bricks, little sort of patio bricks all over the sand. And of course, he would have had to calculate how long is that path, how wide is that path, calculate the area of that path, how many bricks would need to be bought to fill that area. So lots of maths. Even though he's outside in the sort of wind and the rain and the sun, he's still using maths as a gardener. Which one should we go to next? What about nurse? Why would nurse need maths? What numbers are there? Surely nurses, they're all about caring for you, aren't they? Being sort of sympathetic and said, oh, you know, sort of looking after you when you're not so good, when you've gone to hospital. They still need their maths. Say I was in or any of us were in hospital, and the doctor said you need to take certain prescribe certain number of medicines. Here's some medicines. The nurse would get them out and say, oh yes, Chris, you need 4 a day of these. There's 8 of those, so that would say 4 a day. That's 2 days worth of drugs. There you are. That'll last you for 2 days, and they would make sure that I had the right number for the right number of days. They have to use their maths, even in a caring profession like nursing. What about another one there? Motor vehicles, motor vehicle mechanic. Here's a couple of people working on a car in a garage. They've got the bonnet up there looking at the engine, but actually look what they're doing. They're actually working on a laptop with lots of screens up here and wires connecting in with the diagnostic equipment inside that car. They're doing a lot of monitoring the numbers that are coming out of that car. You know, how many revs is it producing? How much CO2 or nasty emissions are coming out of the car? They're all part of making that car work properly, and they're using a lot of numbers to check that out. My car's actually going in for its MOT on next Monday, so they'll be plugging it in, and I'm hoping it'll come up with the right sort of numbers to pass its MOT. What have we got next? pilot. There's a couple of pilots at the end of the runway. They're at that exciting moment, aren't they? When you can see the lady's hand there, her right hand is on the throttle sticks, isn't she? She's just about to push those throttles forward, and the engines will roar and the whole plane will rock back as it speeds down the runway to take off. But have a look inside the cockpit. Have a look at what's facing the two pilots here. Everywhere you look, above their heads, there's numbers there, numbers, all in front of them, dials with lots and lots of numbers, numbers everywhere. Down here, some more numbers. There's another readout with numbers. There's a panel with lots of buttons to push with numbers on. You have to be so good at numbers, good at maths to be a pilot. Supposing they're about to fly over the Atlantic. They're going from, say, Heathrow to New York. It's about 3,000 miles. They have to calculate how much fuel to put in that plane to get to New York. There's no point having enough fuel for 2,000 miles and sort of stopping 2/3 of the way across the Atlantic Ocean. They have to calculate how much fuel to have. Of course, you're saying, well, sure, you just fill it up completely and you're okay. Well, no, they don't want to have too much fuel. They don't want to have 4,000 miles of fuel, because that's lots of heavy fuel to drag around the sky. That's not very efficient. They want to have just a bit more than 3,000 miles worth. They have to calculate how many litres of fuel they'd have to pump into their fuel tanks before setting off. So that's pilot. Oh, shop assistant. That's interesting. Well, why would shop assistant need maths? Well, when we finish the session today, I'm off to Tesco's, and one of the things I need to look at getting is some more coffee. That sounds straightforward, doesn't it? You just walk up and you just help yourself to coffee. Well, if you've been in Tesco's, it's never straightforward, is it? There's a whole rack and almost an aisle full of coffee. And if I were to ask the shop assistant, you know, what coffee do I need? What's the best value coffee? If I had that question this afternoon, what's the best value coffee? Shop assistant might say, well, you've got some choices. You could take the big jar of coffee. There's the really big jar of coffee. Surely that's going to be the best value, isn't it? The big jar of coffee. It's actually priced at £5.85. So you get it's quite a lot of money, but you get a lot of coffee. Is that best value? Is that better value than a jar half as big? That's 200 milligrams, is it? This is 100 grams. That's 100 grams. Half as big. That's £4. Which is better value? You have been having. I might ask you at the end actually, which you think of the jars is better value. So we've got the big one. We've got the small one. We've got the budget coffee. These are Nescafe. That's a sort of classy brand. This is the budget version of the coffee. It's the same size as this one, but the budget one only costs £2.80. So clearly it's going to be better value than that one. But is the budget one better value than that one? But the assistant says to me, actually, we've got one more today. We've got a special offer. Oh, I like special offers. Here's a special offer on coffee. This is the L'Or Classique. It's your luxury coffee. It says at the bottom, smooth and aromatic. Ooh, sounds gorgeous. How much is your special offer? £3.50, she says. Actually, it's the same size. It's got a big lid, hasn't it? But it's the same amount of coffee in that one, and that one. Twice as much coffee in that one, though. Which do you think is the best value? The big one? The small one? The budget one, or the luxury one? If anyone's really quick at maths, I'll give you a few seconds to work out which is the best value for money. That's 200 grams, and the other three are all 100 grams.
So 200
sort of thing
grams.
I'm going to have to weigh up in Tesco's later on.
Here we go. We've got one saying the budget one. We've got a guest coming in. Anyone else? The 200 gram one. From Pebblebrook.
That one.
That one, yeah.
Actually, I wish I've not got a calculator. In fact, have I got a calculator? I'm not sure I've got a calculator with me. So it's 200 grams. I might ask my other Chris to check the maths and award the prize to the winner on this one. Sorry, Chris, I didn't warn you of that.
Oh, so no.
200 grams, 100, 100, 100.
No, honestly, I'll let you I'll let you decide on that one.
I'm thinking, have we had any suggestions? The big one, was it?
Yeah, the 200 grand one, the budget one we've got in so far.
You know, I think.
Here we go. Thoughts that the 2 budget ones would be slightly cheaper.
That's the very budget one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what's £2.80? That's going to be £5.60, isn't it? So if that was twice as big, it'd be £5.60. So if it was twice as big, £5.60. This one is twice as big, but it's £5.85. So if someone said the budget one, this one, my maths says you're right. That's the best value. So if I want to make best value for my money this afternoon, I'm going to get the budget one. You'd have thought the big one might be, but actually the budget one is slightly cheaper in terms of grams per pound, isn't it? So well done. I don't know who it was that suggested the budget one, but if you were there, I'd give it to you as a prize. Mind you, it is the budget. Maybe I should give you the luxury one as the prize. That's a really nice prize. But well done. That's an example of why a shop assistant might use maths. You've probably worked in a shop, have you? Or maybe you've got friends or relatives that work in shops. A lot of people work in shops. And there's a lot of different tasks in a shop. There's a clothes shop, for example. Quite a nice clothes shop. There'd be a lot of tasks in working in a shop. Let's have a think of. In fact, I'll come to that in a minute. There could be things like, let's have a look. Tasks working in a shop. You could be adding up how much a customer spent. That would be one task in a shop, wouldn't it? You could be everything you buy in a shop. It's actually got tax on it. It's called VAT, value added tax. 20% is added to what you pay. So there's another thing. The assistants might have to work out how much is the tax on that particular item. Or say the shop had a half price sale. The assistant would have to go around that morning and reduce the price of everything by a half. That's maths. It's dividing everything by 2. Or supposing you worked in a shop. Supposing it was, let's pick a shop random. Where would you go buy a pair of trainers? I don't know. Sports Direct. Say you went to Sports Direct. Say you worked actually in Sports Direct and you saw the selection of trainers and you needed a new pair. So you thought, actually, at the end of the day, I'll buy myself a pair of trainers. And it might be, you might have two sets to go from. There might be the silver set. It's like this. There's your silver set of trainers, or you might have your black, slightly chunky sets of trainers. You'd have to have maths partly to work out which one you wanted, which is the best value. I haven't got the prices of these now, but you'd have to work out, well, which of these trainers is the best value for me? Which is the right size? You have to measure your own feet, see what the trainers, size of the trainers, both the length and of course the width of the trainer as well across here. That's maths. Using your numbers to work out the size, the width, the price of the trainers. So lots of things in a shop that might need money. What's that got to do with the sort of maths you'd have in school? In school, you might come across these maths symbols, mightn't you? You probably recognize, actually I suspect you probably recognize these ones down the right hand side here. Possibly recognize all of those. I doubt you'd be able to recognize any of those. Does anyone want to have a stab at something? Anyone want to have a stab? This is, you can tell this is the hardest column down the right hand side here. Anyone want to have a stab via chat to what that symbol in the bottom right hand corner actually means? That one down there. I'll be really impressed. This is like the sort of probably most difficult question today. If you have to have a stab, what does that symbol actually represent? If you had to do a sum, have a go at guessing.
I think Cameron's got it.
Has someone got it?
I think so. Cameron, who's a student at Pebblebrook, has said square root.
Whoa, Cameron. Well, I'll reveal the answer in a moment. I'm well done. Well done for coming forward with a guess. But that's, should we just go for it and have the reveal? Yes, Cameron, square root. whoever is Cameron's classmates, I think he deserves a round of applause in Pebblebrook. Well done, Cameron. Your classmates should be bowing in admiration at your maths. So that's the sort of things I doubt you have come across. Have you come across that at school? Maybe you have. Certainly you come across all of these. What's that got to do with our shop? We'll look at some of the tasks in our shop. We've got 5 tasks there: helping the customer add up, working out how much tax they have to pay, work out the prices for the half price sale, deciding which trainers are the right size, which equal your size. And at the bottom one there, if you're going to buy your trainers, you would get a staff discount. If you worked in Sports Direct, you'd probably get a staff discount. How much, if you took your staff discount off the price, how much would you have to pay? That's maths. And that's where the symbols, the sort of things you'd learn at school, that's where they would apply. So all those sorts of activities are in there. So adding things up, percentage of tax or percentage of discount that you get off. Maths that you do in school is used in the workplace. Now, I've used maths in my job. My job, assistant director in a charity, a large company, and we have lots of maths, you know, how much money we're making, how much work do we have to do, particularly how much do we have to pay the staff? How much you have to pay the staff? That's sometimes a difficult one. There's an office that looks quite like my office. You know, it's a lot of computer screens, people around. Don't seem to be working very hard, those. I'll have to have a chat with those two. They don't seem to be working very much. But anyway, that's the typical office scene. I would have sums like this, how to work out someone's pay. You know, if they were working, say, 37 hours a week up here, and we paid them £15 an hour, how much would they get paid? And then, of course, they have to pay tax on that. So if they had to take 20% of that to pay the government tax, how much would they end up with? And that's the sort of calculation I'd have to do at work. So there's the pay, £15 an hour, 37 hours. They get £555, but they have to pay tax on that. So at the end of the week, they'd only get £444 in the bank. Now, how would that go if I had to change the amount of hours they worked? Let's come out of this briefly. No, we don't want that one. We want to just come out of the presentation. Right. And in fact, I'll expand my screen so you can see that. So I wanted to change the number of hours they work. So it's at 37 hours at the moment. I wanted to reduce their hours, say to 20 hours a week. Now I've used maths to build a sheet here that should do that sum for me. Now, if anyone is really quick, Cameron, are you ready to retain your crown as ace mathematician of the afternoon? If I were to reduce their hours, they're still paid £15 for every hour they work, but they're only going to work 20 hours, not 37. How much would be in that yellow box? So it'd be 20 hours for £15 for every one of those hours, but there's 20% of tax coming off it. Now, when you get to do this sort of calculation at work, you can build the figures in and make the maths really quick. So I can tell you straight away, if I did 20 hours, there you go, they get £240. That's what they'd take home. That'd be 15 hours, 20 hours, sorry, £15 minus the tax. And that's how maths at work, when you're doing really complicated figures, really quickly, you can actually build in, this is called a spreadsheet. Yeah, you can build in the maths into the figures. So if I were to do a last one, say I was going to do, give them exactly half the number of hours, which is 18.5. There you go. They take home £222 a week after tax. That's no great surprise because they had.
And Chris, I just we've only got about a few seconds left. We probably won't have time for questions, but I just think it's been so good. I wanted to continue all the way till the end. Right.
Well, that's a pleasure. Yes, we would do half an hour. I told you maths was fun. That's half an hour. It's just whizzed by, hasn't it?
Maths is so fun. And Chris, that was such an engaging session, but we must let you go to your Tesco trip now and use your maths.
I know. Go and get my coffee. See, it's almost run out. You see how little coffee there is at the bottom of my jar? It's nearly run out.
That's brilliant. Chris, any final words from you? Thank you very much indeed for your time today.
Pleasure. Well done to those who took part, particularly Pebblebrook. Cameron, you're good at maths. And don't forget, at home tea tonight, 16 numbers. They choose 4, 1 from each column, 1 from each row. I think that might be the total. Do it tonight.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.